What insults make you sound classy and intelligent? Please like and subscribe. Thank you. He had delusions of adequacy. He was in fact above average. I do desire we may be better strangers. Ice cold. 2 can play at this game. I send your mother no compliments. My favorite is get thee to a nunnery. From Hamlet. Basically telling his girl that she's a whore. The soul of this man is his clothes. I will definitely be using this one. I bite my thumb at you, good sir. If I never saw you again, it would be too soon. That was the quote I put in my high school yearbook. Your life is full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Away you 3-inch fool. I once worked with a guy for 3 years and never learned his name. Best friend I ever had. We still never talk sometimes. Villain. I have sown thy mother. You consistently meet my expectations. The rating scale for performance reviews at Google includes consistently meets expectations. It's not a good rating. One of my friends got a review saying that they have the potential to succeed. Bowie. Military, we always would say performed job duties with the utmost mediocrity. You consistently have the potential to meet expectations. I find it impossible to underestimate you. Your dick is so small, you piss on your balls. Your ability to speak does not make you intelligent. I kind of like the one that was posted earlier this week. You're not the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope he doesn't die. But there's the obvious comeback. I'm praying for your health. When we played Monopoly as kids and my sister or I drew the card you won second prize in a beauty contest, collect $10, my brother would always say too bad you were the only contestant. If you do your best and try real hard, one day you'll reach the top of the bell curve. How appropriate. You fight like a cow. I hope your day is filled with people like you. And I hope your day is as pleasant as you. This was my favorite while working retail with asshole customers. The customer who complains about me telling them that is now caught in their own web. Management would say, I don't see the problem here. What's wrong with people like you? Or why wouldn't you want the rest of your day to be that pleasant? You have a face for radio, and a voice for newspapers, and a brain for dissection, and a body for donation, and a dick for microscopes, and my axe for the dissection. I usually go with a face for radio and a voice for closed caption. You have a radio for a face. You have the voice for miming, and the smell for TV. All I know is one of us is right, and the other one is you. It's good to have an opinion. Recently, 2 of my students were having an intense argument over something obscure concerning their favorite car brands. With the straightest face I could manage, I finally interrupted and said, I have no idea what you 2 are arguing about, but I do know this one of you is profoundly stupid and the other one agrees with me. Just for the record, my students understand my sense of humor and they weren't offended. They got a kick out of my response. Second one reminds me of my dad. Whenever me or my brother said I want X about something my parents had decided they weren't going to get us, he would reply, it's good to want things. So unbelievably frustrating at the time, but funny enough it's become a fond memory. Nice. I like to throw out you're entitled to your wrong opinion. Note, only use in friendly debates/ripping. Sounds obnoxious if you're having a legitimate debate lol. I say this to students often enough. Your opinion is fine in the sense that the Bill of Rights guarantees you one. This is America, so you are entitled to your wrong opinion. Note, doesn't work if this is not America. It's okay to be wrong. I'm the guy who's doing his job. You must be the other one. Are you an organ donor? I'd hate for your life to be a total waste. I love the commercial about the guy who is an asshole his whole life, but also an organ donor and everyone who gets his bits is so happy he's dead. Lol. I just said this to my husband. His comeback was better. He farted on me. In a similar vein, you should carry around a plant to replace the oxygen you waste. I would have said I'd hate for someone to get your brain. And we know 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 lefts do. Wrong is not a sensation I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure you'd be able to tell me from plenty of personal experience. I'm trying to see things from your point of view, but I don't think there's room for it to heads up your ass. I've been called worse things by better people. Peer Trudeau. I've been wounded worse by better. Skyrim Bandit. I've been hated by better men than you. Jaime Lannister. I envy everyone you have never met. Whoop, nice. Now I met you. You have the moral backbone of a chocolate eclair. One of my favorite quotes similar to this is from James May on Top Gear. I'd try to explain it to you on your level, but I have such a fear of great heights. Personally, I'm a fan of I have neither the time nor the crayons to explain this to you. I don't know what your problem is, but I bet it's really hard for you to pronounce. Somewhere out there, there's a tree whose single purpose on Earth is to replace the oxygen you waste. Go find it and apologize. Sounds like a drill sergeant insult. That's when you run to the tallest private in your unit and apologize to him. I could try to insult you, but I cannot top what nature has already done. Life is full of disappointments. Just ask your parents. Ouch. They say your father was a great man. You must be what's left. You shouldn't act hard to get when you're hard to want. I don't know what I'd do if someone said this. Ouch. I'm thinking about it, and my feelings are already hurt. And somehow, I still haven't convinced you to stop talking to me. From Casablanca, you despise me, don't you? Well, if I gave you any thought, I probably would. Anything that starts with all due respect. That's the classic one. Whenever you start saying that phrase, you begin to disrespect someone. With all due respect, which is none. With all due respect, you could not be more wrong. He's as useless as a marzipan dildo. You're so dense, your index of refraction is infinite. Sit down. You're embarrassing yourself. Even worse, sit down. You're embarrassing me. Perhaps I'm trying to embarrass myself. Then you are doing a remarkable job of expressing yourself as a fool. Tales of your misdeeds are told from Ireland to Cathay. Your low character is the subject of Greek plays. May your humors rot in your living body. May you be sewn alive in the belly of dead camel. Let's talk about the people you've traumatized, starting with the doctor who delivered you. Then, the mother who gave birth to you. Then, the nurse who carried you. Then, the father who left you. I do not participate in a battle of wits against an unarmed man. Shakespeare, right? I'd challenge you to a battle of wits, but I see you are unarmed. You are as bright as a black hole and twice as dense. How can you be so obtuse? Solitary, a month. Or am I being obtuse? No, now you're being acute. Solitary, now. Hanging out with a bunch of friends. I'm having so much fun. Turns to person I want to insult even if you're here. Jesus, this is a type of shit that'll keep them awake late into the night. If they say a snarky remark or a direct insult, a good comeback, I would have a retaliation. But two wrongs don't make a right. Take your parents for example. If you want my comeback, you'll have to wipe it off your mom's face. Scrape it off your mum's teeth. You are not burdened by an overabundance of intelligence, are you? And I'm thinking you weren't burdened with an overabundance of schooling. Sorry, I just watched that one last night so it's fresh. Well, my days of not taking you seriously are certainly coming to a middle. You remind me of someone. They weren't very memorable. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. I fart in your general direction. Now go away, or I shall taunt you a second time. Your contribution led to quantum leaps and improvements. A quantum is a subatomic measurement, which means you didn't do jack that's measurable by the naked eye. You may strategically place your wonderful lips upon my posterior and kiss it repeatedly. Barnabas Collins reminded me of that line in Hamilton. Turn around, bend over, I'll show you where my shoe fits. You're like the end pieces of a loaf of bread. Everyone touches you, but nobody wants you. You seem like the kind of person who doesn't know the ingredients to peanut butter and jelly. You are as useful as UEUENQ. Saving this for my next group project. Your existence disproves survival of the fittest. You keep proving we've come from monkeys. It must be nice not to have the burden of intelligence. Or what is it like living in utter bliss? You spit in the face of evolution. And you, sir, have just undone evolution. Bravo. I'm sorry I'm depriving some local village of their idiot. You are the classic example of the inverse ratio between the size of a mouth and the size of a brain. If all of the village idiots, in all of the villages in the world, decided to form their own village, you would win the election for idiot of that village, by acclamation. If your ancestors had possessed the foresight to castrate the village idiot, you wouldn't even exist. We live in amazing times. The Hubble Space Telescope can see out for billions of light years. There are microscopes that can see a single atom. But if we were to take the Hubble and point it into the microscope, we still wouldn't be able to see your intellect. You could stuff all your redeeming qualities into a thimble and still have room for your thumb. There is no word in the English dictionary to describe how wrong you are. If there was, you still wouldn't get it. It's clear to me that you have not been burdened with a great abundance of schooling. Keep acting like an idiot. Maybe you could win an Oscar. Does your brain cry itself to sleep at night? I had foolish people like you underestimate me before. They regretted mostly. Your brain is smoother than a bowling ball. I'll learn so much from your mistakes. I feel so miserable without you. It is almost like having you here. I never forget a face, but in your case I will make an exception. Your secret is safe with my indifference. You're not pretty enough to be that stupid. I would slap you, but that would be animal abuse. You are as assless as a rubber beak on a woodpecker. I once had a bowel movement like you. Close your mouth before you catch flies.